So today we're working on the electrical, and I'm doing the AC side, and we're going to put in 3 outlets. One over here where the solar battery is, and the dining table. One back by the bed, and one here at the kitchen. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going to put it down here so that you'll plug in appliances there, or over here on this wall. Our battery setup is a bit different than a lot of vans in that we're not charging from the engine. We have no DC to DC charging happening. Everything is from the solar, and that's it. We can plug into shore power if we want, but again, we can't charge our batteries from that. We're strictly charging off of solar, so it's really an off-grid system. What I've done basically is taken the batteries and the charge components from our off-grid cottage and have installed them here in the van. They sit there all winter and aren't used. If we do go there in the wintertime, there's very little requirement for power because we can store our food in the cold outside and we heat with wood. So they might as well be in use here in the van where we can take it somewhere warm and make use of the whole charging infrastructure. We do have solar panels on the roof of the van and solar panels at the cabin, and those will stay there. We're not going to bring those back and forth. But everything else can easily be moved. If you want to see the details of our solar setup at the cabin, I'll put a link above. But basically, we're using the same setup here in the van. We're going to have the 4 kilowatt lithium ion battery, our Victron inverter, our DC breakers, and all the other equipment that we need to set up basically an identical system here in the van, and we'll move it back to the cabin in the summer. We have 2 systems. We have 12 volt for lighting and water pump, and we have 110 for all the kind of consumer electronics like our toaster and our kettle and things like that. So we're going to use this LED track system underneath all the cabinets. It's nice because it's slim and it fits in there really well, and then they're going to be individually switched, so we'll be able to turn all of them on and off separately. I spent about 2 days running wires under the van, through the walls, in the ceiling, to all the different places that we needed 12 volt power. The LEDs come in a roll, and in this case we were able to use just one roll for the whole van. You can cut them off at the length you need and then solder on the wires. I know a lot of van lifers have fancy disco lighting with different colors and patterns, but in this case we wanted to go with simple warm white LEDs. I know a lot of people in vans use overhead puck lights, but I really don't like the shadows that those cast, so we prefer to keep the lighting under the cabinets and indirect. The reading lights by the bed also have a USB charger built in. The truck already had a shore power connection, so we're able to reuse that in our system. Our son bought us this cool light bar, so today's job will be to put it on the truck and get it wired in. The light bar came with this little wiring harness, so I'm just going to solder that with these super convenient connectors, which are your shrink wrap and your solder all in one. I shoved this little piece of rod through an existing hole that the ambulance or the fire truck's wiring came through, so now I can hopefully pull this wiring back through that same hole.